started this podcast, I was doing it in live. Like I talked to a lot of brewers and bartenders and like in the local area, obviously stories from a bar. So that beer is involved on my end at the very least. But I've really started to enjoy doing them on Zoom because it's less editing for me. Zoom is so much better at balancing the sound levels for me instead of the equipment I bring with me to the bar or something like that. So I spend less time when it comes to editing, which has been super fun.
Less work for you.
Exactly. So welcome to another episode of Stories from a Bar, home bar edition, as I'm sitting here in my nerd room with my dog who's passed out in her bed over there. Of course, I'm your host, Chris Osborne. For this episode, I'm hanging out with Audra Miller, Matt Yost, Sam Gilman, of course, who make up the band Concrete Castles. How are you guys?
Doing good. Great. How are you?
Living the dream. Living the dream. It's Friday. I had the day off, so that was great timing.
Perfect. Nice.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out. Like I said, I've really been digging the album, so I'm excited to have a chance to chat with you guys all about it and everything.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. First off, I do have a quick little ad I need to throw out there. Quick shout out to Uptown Beverage, huge beverage center here in Schenectady, New York, where they do a lot of delivery, great selection. So for anyone interested, check them out. You enter the code STORIES for 3% off your order. It's great. I had them deliver some beer the other week as I was quasi-quarantined, as my girlfriend who I live with caught the COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So luckily she was vaccinated. She has asthma. So there was only a little tightness in her chest and back. And she's still trying to get her. Yeah. She's still trying to get her. She's still trying to get her taste back, which annoys her more than anything. And I think at those first few days, she was mad that I wasn't catching it because she kind of had to stay on the other side of the house. But she's doing better, and I had beer delivered, so I can't complain about that. It's always more fun to do that than go out. So shout out to Uptown Beverage. Check them out. Plus, this is a big milestone for me. This is my 50th episode, so I'm excited to.
No way!
Yes.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's funny when I've talked to I've gotten more. I've always wanted to incorporate more musicians into the podcast. Ones I love, especially local ones. I know you guys are from Erie, Pennsylvania, though, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. Funny enough, I had a local band on from Albany, New York. Their name is Erie.
Man.
I know. But I don't remember exactly how I first found out about Concrete Castles. I think I was prepping to have Alex from Young Culture on the podcast. I talked to him a couple months ago. Of course, they're signed to Equal Vision. And so I started going through the Equal Vision roster one day for two reasons, because they were signed to them and I needed to know more. And second, Equal Vision's basically in my backyard. I live in Schenectady, New York. They're in Albany. Yeah. So I've grown up in the area. Close. Yeah. Have you guys been to this area yet? The Albany area, at the very least, at all?
Not really. No, I would say probably not. See, it's funny because my parents live in Connecticut, so I drive through the Albany, Schenectady area like every single time I go see them. So, I mean, I've driven through a million times. I've never stopped.
Oh, plus a big shout out to Frog Alley, who I'm drinking some of their local beer today. Good stuff. Their winter ale. Also, happy holidays, guys.
Oh, yeah.
This is 50th episode and the last of 2021.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. Feels so special.
I know. It worked out so great. I wasn't sure what I was going to do or how I was going to wrap up the year. And then because I've been emailing with Kelly at Equal Vision, who is like, hey, are you free this week? They'd love to do it. I'm like, sure.
Perfect timing. I
know. So how are the holidays going for you guys? Audra was telling me before this how busy you guys have been with, of course, First to 11. And like I said, every time I log on to Instagram, it looks like you guys are posting a new cover.
All the time in this month.
Pretty much. Holidays, I'm ready for them to be over, to be honest. I kind of take more solace in the fact of like the beginning of the year because, there's no holidays. So your schedule is just set for like half a year. And that's pretty nice.
We get like
the start and stop of the holidays. You like stop Thanksgiving. You try to get motivation back to make it to Christmas, and you
for like the 2 weeks in between, like where you have to work again, and you're just like,
oh yeah, I have an office job, so I'm kind of in and out of the office basically from Thanksgiving on. But then a week into January, I'm looking at the calendar. I don't see anything until Memorial Day. I'm like, son of a bitch.
You're like, man, I have to wait.
So we're gonna spend some time going through the album, like I touched on. Wish I Missed You. It's an awesome album. I love it. It's fantastic. But let's talk about you guys and Concrete Castles first. Like I said, I first came across you guys when I was just perusing either the Equal Vision website or their social media. I'm not sure. But one of my favorite things to do is when I have nothing else going on, I'll just have a beer or wine or something. I'll sit there and I'll just kind of go hunting for new music. So I went down that rabbit hole. Equal Vision was promoting your record because it had just come out, of course. I'm like, all right, let me go check these guys out. So I pulled you up on YouTube, listened to Thrill. It was the first video that came up and just got hooked right away. I'm like, this is awesome.
Awesome.
And then, of course, funny enough, I had no idea about First to 11 before that. So I got it. I'm like, what is this band First to 11? I'm like, this looks like the same people. What is all this? And then I was blown away by just like how many videos and covers you had already had.
Yeah. We've been doing this for a while.
So here's a good way to start, I guess, is how did you guys end up getting into music, interested in playing music?
I'll start off because mine's really easy. Guitar Hero 3. I was like 7 years old. Guitar Hero 3 had just come out. And I just played it like every single day. I was like, I love Guitar Hero 3. It's so cool. I was like, Dad, I want a guitar. And he's like, no. And I was like, what? What do you mean no?
Why not?
I'm not buying you a guitar. I'm like, fine. I'm going to practice Guitar Hero 3. This is what my 7-year-old peanut brain thought. I'll practice this video game guitar playing, and that will show my dad that I want to practice real guitar playing. I asked him for like 3 months straight, and eventually he's like, fine, please shut up. Look at me. Look at me now, Dad. See, it worked out.
How was the transition when you got the guitar for the first time? You're like, okay, this was not quite the same.
Well, see, I honestly like it way better than like Guitar Hero. I was like, wait, this is way more fun. There's way more options than these 5 buttons.
Oh yeah.
It was so funny too, because like my small hands, I couldn't really play like hard mode because like I didn't really know how to move my pinky over. But like on regular guitar, I feel like power chords are almost easier than a 7-year-old moving their pinky over on Guitar Hero. I'm probably absolutely only speaking for myself here because I'm probably wrong, but I thought it was way more fun because I was like, I can actually play these songs and like turn off the game and it still makes the music. Because obviously, if you mute the TV while you're playing Guitar Hero, it's just
oh yeah. Anybody in
guitar,
yeah, everyone else in other rooms only hears you slamming the buttons and like, what the hell is going on in there?
Mashing like the thing, but when you play real guitar, it actually makes noise. Which my parents probably hated for the first couple of years because it probably wasn't good noise, but we got there.
I think I got into music and another kind of simple story, but like I have an older brother, and the weirdest thing is the guy who I ended up taking guitar lessons from, Ryan, who plays in First to 11, was my brother's guitar teacher. So he took lessons from him, a couple times. It'd be a handful of lessons, and I walked into my brother's room, and he had a guitar in his hand, and I was like, all right, I want to do everything that you do. I feel like it's like kind of typical if you have an older sibling, you just want to be just like them. And then he fell off guitar. Like he kind of had to go to, his interest changed, and I just really liked it. So I went through a few teachers, and then eventually I ended up just happenstance having Ryan as my guitar teacher. And like maybe like a year into our lessons, he was like, I think I taught your brother actually. Like, why do I have like your home phone number saved in my phone already? And he was going through his options. He's like, yeah, I actually taught your brother like years and years and years ago. But yeah, I got into it just because I wanted to be like my brother.
Nice. What about you?
Mine is pretty simple story. Also, when I was really little, I just watched a lot of Disney movies, right? When you're young, and I loved just singing along to like all the movies and like musicals and stuff when I was little. And I was in musicals at my school, and then I was just kind of like, wow, this is like really fun, but like I don't really want to sing like musical songs for the rest of my life. And then I was like, why don't I just, join a band? So that's kind of how I got into it.
Nice. So you guys are started out First to 11. And then kind of branched off from there. How long is First to 11 how long ago did you guys get that started?
2009.
Oh man.
2021. So how it started is, like Sam said, we all took music lessons, all the guys that were previously in the band, because there's been a lot of member changes in First to 11 just because of the age of, people went to college, people, started this, people started that, interest change and stuff. But we were all taking lessons from the same guitar teacher, and he just put us all together in like a rock school-esque kind of thing. And, that's kind of became his full-time job, is putting bands together. But we just kept playing and playing and playing. And when the rock school got a little bit more traction, people could sign up. And that's how Audra joined, is she signed up. Ryan was like, this girl's way too good to be in like any other of the bands. And we were the best band at the time, only because that's not a brag. That's just because we were older and it had been there the longest, because we were the first ones that we were like the test drive for Ryan. Like, oh, is this like putting kids together to be in a band going to work? We all seemed to be friends. We all got along. We all played music and we weren't half bad. And he was like, yeah, okay. So rock school started and Audra joined. And then, after that, everything just kind of condenses in my mind. Doesn't really matter. All that really matters is we eventually started making YouTube videos and off we started.
I just saw your Spotify stats that you had posted a picture of. That's insane. 25 million listens the last year. Do you guys ever like take a step back and are just kind of blown away by that?
No, it just makes me sad when I look at Concrete Castles because I'm just jaded now. I'm like, hey, why isn't this first album at 25 million?
When you do covers for that long, it's like weird. Like, but then I compare like our first year of like Spotify stats of like First to 11 to the Concrete Castle stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, it isn't even that bad. But it's weird to see it now, like, and just be like, wow, we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, and also, I mean, like, maybe now is kind of a good time to mention, like, First to 11 wasn't necessarily, so just for clarification, I haven't been First to 11 like from day one. I've been friends with these guys since day one, basically, but it took me, I was kind of doing my own musical projects and then eventually kind of joined forces. But the success of First to 11 has been very linear. It wasn't kind of like some virality that just spiked and then, never did anything again. So it's very nice. Like, I think Audra made a great point of like, it's really nice to compare where we were, but we now have a pretty good handle, I think, of like what our numbers should be and where we should be aiming. So yeah, it was almost like very like nice. Like, I think we're on the right track. Kind of, it wasn't as much of like oh man, like I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since you guys have been doing it now since 2009. Actually, I was just rocking out to your AC/DC cover yesterday. That was fantastic. Nice. I mean, when it comes to, obviously we're going to get to Concrete Castles in a second, but when it comes to like picking your cover songs and stuff, do you approach your cover songs a certain way when it comes to trying to learn them and trying to get them down?
No, not really. I think, like you said, we do so many covers now because you see we post so much that we pick a song. You're going to literally, we've switched from like, we used to have like a system and we've switched just to, well, I mean, we're going to get to the song anyways. You might as well do it.
Might as well just do it. Yeah.
It's just an eventuality. But when it comes to approaching the songs, you just kind of, we all arrange kind of like our own, the entirety of one song. So instead of everyone sitting in a room at once, Ryan will take a song, Sam will take a song, I'll take a song, and we'll kind of see that through. And we just kind of decide, hey, do we want to change it up? Do we want to make it kind of straight down the middle, like same, like play it exactly how it was? What do we want to do? But there's no real rhyme or reason to it. You just kind of do what you feel like, because people just experience things like a lot of different ways. Like there's some covers that Sam might have done that he changed that I probably would have stayed the same. And there's some cover that I probably would have done where Sam would have changed, but I kept the same. So it's just kind of like, just do whatever you want. It'll work out. And all of us kind of doing what we want just kind of evens it out. Cause like Sam will change the cover. Then now, like you said, you listen to AC/DC. I did that one and I just played it like as close to like the original, like as possible. Like just try to make it pretty tried and true. And then next week we'll play a song a lot different than what you're used to hearing it. Just trying to kind of cover all the bases, make everyone happy. We don't have any genres we stick to. We don't have any limitations. We just do what we want to do and it just kind of works out.
Nice. So you had been doing that since 2009. At what point did you guys start thinking you wanted to do original music and put out an album?
Well, we put out some original stuff as First to 11.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're like,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, but we were like 14, 15, 16. So it's just like, do you even know what you want to do at that point? Like you're writing music. but like it's just
what?
kind of like you're
What
really
is
not.
it? But like the whole goal of First to 11 when we started was like to use these covers and like make a platform for ourselves and then use that as kind of like a springboard to like start doing original music, and like being able to promote that and like having that following.
Oh, absolutely. And you hear about that more and more, bands that started as cover bands now, and then you're shocked when you hear that because you don't know them as the cover band. Was it
Yeah.
Panic at the Disco was what, a Blink-182 cover band, and I know that or something like that. And there was some,
Train was a Led Zeppelin cover band. The members are from our city. Like we kind of grew up with them, but they started as a cover band too, actually.
Did they? I did not know that. See, I learned something now.
Yeah, because they kind of erase that.
Yeah,
they don't mention that they're from Erie, and they don't mention that they did Led Zeppelin covers.
And that
they
they did
like,
covers.
They kind of scrubbed that
They're
out.
just
See,
like,
I feel like that
Train
gives
just
them
did
more
hate.
credit. That gives them even more credit.
Yeah,
The
they're
Led
very,
Zeppelin.
they're very.
I think
talented
saying you
kids.
come from San Diego has a better ring to it than you come from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Well, they did kind of. It's funny when you think of Train, they did kind of develop that West Coast California type image really well.
Yeah.
That's crazy. One thing I'm curious about as I was reading about the album when I found it is the reference that it was coming out via Velocity Records and Equal Vision. Maybe it's on my own naivety when it comes to the record industry, but how exactly does that work when we're talking about two labels kind of putting out?
So basically, there's basically like 3 actual labels, and everything's just a subsidy of like each other. So like you got like, Equal Vision at the top, who like Velocity is like an offshoot of Equal Vision, but it says we say Equal Vision Velocity because Velocity signed us.
Yes.
So basically, we signed to Velocity, and then Velocity signed to Equal Vision. So by proxy, we are signed to Equal Vision.
Yeah, Equal Vision is like the umbrella over like all of its like subsidiary like record labels.
But it's like looking at like, I don't know any of the subsidiaries, but it's like looking at Sony Music, and then you can like look down and there's like a million little labels
like little
under
labels
Sony.
off of
it works the same way, just on a little smaller of a scale. It's like Equal Vision, Velocity has us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that Equal Vision had bought Velocity at some point. I think that's pretty awesome. Like I said, they're like right in my backyard, and it's cool just knowing I have this awesome indie record label 20 minutes from where I am.
Yeah,
and just some of the bands that have been signed to that label and have gone through there and have even moved on or still there are just mind-boggling. So you guys are, as I was looking through the list, I'm like, this is just an awesome roster they have going on over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obligatory band question that I had listened to another podcast, so I kind of know the answer to, but Concrete Castles, how did you guys settle on using that for the band name?
Odor Velocity said, listen, boys, you got to pick a name. And we were like, we don't really have a name.
Like, we don't know what to do.
He's like, guess what? You're Concrete Castles now. And we were like, man, it sounds good.
Yeah. He stole the name from our song Thrill. It's like a line in the song Concrete Castles. And he was like, hey, what if you do this as a name? And we were like, honestly, not bad.
It's a great name. I like that. It's an awesome name.
I mean, it kind of checked all the boxes for us where it's like, it's very like, I don't think the name has to be like clear. It just has to be like, what's a concrete castle? You type that in, you're going to find us. There's nothing like else. You can abbreviate it to CC.
We do like the CC.
And it conjures like a image in your head. So like whether it's be the CC logo or an actual castle or us, I don't really care what it conjures. It just
as long as it does something.
As long as it does something. Because like I just think like, you know what I mean? Some other band names that like are harder to remember because they don't conjure like something in your head. But I think of like Dance Gavin Dance. That's a great name for me because I just think of like how they have that artwork on their albums from the same artist. I just think of one of his little art guys dancing.
Yeah.
Dance Gavin Dance. You can remember the name. So he's kind of checked all the boxes, and I hate making names. So we were like,
we are terrible at making names.
Really?
Dude, we've been called M4 and First to 11 for so long. I'm like, names don't even matter, bro.
No.
These names don't even matter. Just name us whatever you want to name us, bro.
And of course, obligatory question to the album we're going to talk about is Wish I Missed You. So also the name of the lead title track. So did you guys have the song first and kind of name the album after that, or just?
Yep. Because they were like, hey,
you need an album
name. Yeah. We were like, what if we named it after a song?
Yeah.
And
well, it was a weird thing because Wish I Missed You originally wasn't supposed to be like a single from the album, but we all just really liked the song. So we were like, how do we make people like recognize the song and like really put it up there with the rest of the singles without, having a music video for it and like planning to release it like that? So we were like, why don't we title the album after it and like make it the first track?
It's also funny because then like 2 months after we decided that, they're like, we're gonna make it a single anyway.
Yeah.
So it actually didn't even matter.
So then it didn't matter, but still, we still like it.
That's because, dude, we said it before, we hate naming things. It's dumb.
So we were just like, title track of the album?
Oh, just pick a song off the album, name it that. I don't care, man.
It's weird because I feel like there's much more emphasis on naming stuff these days than there used to be, especially like after all the emo and pop punk bands really started to explode. Like Fall Out Boy was naming their songs ridiculously long titles, and then you kind of started seeing that with other stuff. And I'm not going to lie, it piques my interest to see what song titles are immediately, to see if there's just anything like that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that genre of music also, like the 90s alt and early 2000s emo, is like, I don't know, it just has like its own like little following. And I think we didn't quite know, like, I don't know if we knew what these songs were going to sound like originally. So we were like, let's just name it like the main lyric of the chorus or something like that. Like, I don't think that we weren't like the kids in like their mom's garage just being like, wouldn't it be funny if we named it this? Like, we were kind of like, we should probably make this like a very clear choice and like name this something that's like we should
that
think
people
about
will remember.
I also think about it like names are so much more important than they used to be.
Yeah,
those old emo records, dude, you're gonna sell the record and the kid that bought it's gonna listen to it front to back. They don't care what the name is. It's only on a CD or it's only on vinyl. It's only on whatever they bought it on. There's no streaming platform. They don't need to type it in. You have to have the CD, and you really just look like, okay, what track number is it? And that's how you know the names. But now with the like singles completely taking over the industry and like, streaming being so prevalent, people need to know the name of your song. It's just a must. So like, you're really just like shooting yourself in the foot if you have a name that like people can't remember. So I don't think names matter that much, because I think everyone's pretty open-minded, but I think they matter from the sense of like, if it's so long or so confusing or so weirdly spelled that you can't find it, you're screwing yourself over.
Yeah, true.
So like you think about like those Fall Out Boy songs, like, they're naming it crazy things. And now, you know what I mean? They're like, oh wait, the advent of streaming and stuff, we want people to like be able to type in,
be able to search this music.
Oh, now there's a feature on, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a feature on Spotify where if you type in a lyric, it'll match it to the song you're trying to find. Now
that's good to know.
No way. I did not know
I did not know that. I honestly, I haven't even used Spotify much up until the last few months, because I've always, where I work, I can at least have my iPod. So I'm always changing stuff in and out of that. And so when I get stuck at my desk, I started using Spotify recently. In fact, you guys showed up as number 2 on my top 5.
No way. That's so cool. I think
that weird naming like culture is just really dug its roots into like the progressive metal, like all instrumental scene. Because obviously, if there's no lyrics, who really cares what you name the song?
It reminds me of that one Bring Me the Horizon album that has like all the weird names on it.
I just think of like Sean and Animals as leaders and Polyphia, like they just can name them whatever, because like it's just all guitarists. So like doesn't really, whatever they think in their head, they can just name the song.
So let's talk about the album. Like I said, I love this album. I thought it was fantastic from the first time I listened through it. Have you guys been surprised by the response you've gotten from it at all? Switching from basically a well-known cover band to here's a full-on new original release.
Can I say no? I think the right answer. No, not really.
No, that's a perfect answer.
I mean, like, I don't think we were, because we were like, people like our covers, we're gonna make originals, and like boom, people like them. Like it doesn't really surprise me.
It was a weird thing at first, because we were having to explain to people like, we're gonna keep doing First to Love and covers, but we're also gonna start this original band where we're only going to put our original music like into this project. So I think like there was definitely a little bit of a weird thing at first, trying to like get people over to like the Concrete Castles, like, social medias and like YouTube channel and stuff. But I think now people have finally just been like, okay, so First to 11 is for covers, Concrete Castles is for originals. And I think they're like finally starting to figure it out.
Nice.
I think from a strictly music side, like you still, play the covers and rewrite covers and break down the songs and kind of put your own spin on it.
Change it
so
up,
like,
yeah.
Just instrumentally, there's nothing really that separates me writing a guitar part for a cover than me writing a guitar part for original.
Yeah.
I kind of go about it the same exact way. So
Yeah.
obviously it's much different for Audra, but like I think for me and Sammy, it was just like, hey, we just instead of having a predetermined chord progression, we just got to make it, and
You just get to come up with
that's
one
kind
on
of
your own.
easy. That's kind of the easier part, I feel.
Yeah.
So
And I actually felt very comfortable like writing for the last record, and like now we're getting back into some writing now. And I just feel like very comfortable because I'm like, I have a lot of confidence with what we do with First to 11. So I'm very much like, a lot of people have decided that they really like, this cool little guitar riffs. It's like, I'll put it in song.
The main difference for writing for us is like covers, they come out so fast that it's really like first idea, you flesh out that idea and you kind of pass it on. The originals, you just do a lot more takes over it. You're like, there's your first idea, but let's just refine, because you have that.
Just keep going back to it.
You have that not only like more personal stake investment, but you also have that time. Because like I said, we're not putting out the original a week like we
every
do
week.
So like covers is just a little bit more streamlined. Like you have an idea what you want to do for the cover. The first idea that comes to your head, you just kind of execute on it and then ship it out. Originals, you're like, okay, how do we make this better? How do we make this flow better? How do these parts connect? It's a little more thought through, but same exact process, just more times you sift through it.
Interesting. So Wish I Missed You, first song on the album, title track. I love the guitar on this, and I love the little chain sound that comes in on the chorus there in the background. I like that. It's a nice rock type sound to it.
Yeah.
Anthony Green from Circa Survive, guest vocals. How did that come about?
So Dave Velocity, the owner of Velocity, actually knows Anthony, and he was just like, hey, do you guys want to have him like sing on this? And we were like, yeah.
Sam about had a stroke when he heard that.
Yeah. So we were like, yeah, absolutely. And then he just like called me and he was like, hey, so like, what do you want me to do on this? And I was like, I don't know. So I like, just we mapped out the vocals for it and what he was going to sing and how we wanted it to sound. And, we just kind of talked about it over the phone. And I was like, this is what we want it to sound like this is what I want you to sing. And he did it. He sent it to us. And then ta-da, there it was.
Yeah, he sounds great. It sounds like each chorus builds on the previous version of the chorus. And it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I mean, one of my favorite things when I listen to a song is like a slow build or new layers being added, of course.
Oh, that's what we love too.
Yeah, such a sucker.
Matt
for that.
loves that.
Oh
we
my God.
are a sucker for that.
The people we were doing the album with, the Gomez brothers from the Somerset, they were like, Matthew, you have to stop suggesting this same idea. I'm like, no, the song's gonna start low and end up here. And they're like, shut up. Stop talking. Not every song can sound like that.
Not every song can do that.
Why can't it sound like that? That's what I want every song to sound
this
like.
first track and the last track on the album are like the biggest culprits of this.
That's probably what I have my most notes on is mess, and we'll get to there.
Yeah.
Did you say this song almost didn't make the album? Is that what?
Yeah.
Mess and Wish I
yeah,
Missed You.
actually the first and last track. Yeah. So Wish I Missed You, we had the demo for it, and we just we had like a one writing trip in the summer where we went out and we like recorded all the songs that we like thought were going to be on the album. And then when we went out to do the music videos for the singles, they were like, you guys should just, try recording these two and see what happens. And we ended up, really liking them enough, obviously, to make Wish I Missed You the title track and the first song of the album. So if they wouldn't have told us to do it, I don't know. This could be a whole different album.
With a whole different name, yeah. As we're going through this, feel free to jump in with any stories you guys have. I don't know if I don't touch on something you guys want to touch on. Certainly feel free to throw that out there.
Cool.
Hidden Faces. This song really grew on me. Like I really got into the chorus, especially when it sounds like everyone steps back to yell into the microphone, hey, Hidden Faces.
We did do that actually.
Oh, is that how?
yeah, all of us sat in the room and we stepped back from the mic and we were like, okay, we're all just going to yell this right now. And that's exactly what happened.
So how did this song come together?
So lyrically for this song, I started writing it with Jaden, who's in the band With Confidence. And, you know, we just kind of like sat down. He had this like little chorus idea. And the first thing that we came up with for the song actually wasn't the chorus, it was the verses, which was like weird because that's normally not really how we do this. But the verses just, you know, we were listening to the song and we were like, oh, wait, this is like a really cool idea. And then we actually kind of got stumped on the chorus. We like got there and we were like, what are we going to do with this song? Because like we really liked the way the verses were sounding. And then we were like, what if we just completely flip it on its head and like make it a bigger chorus and the verses like make it sound like it should be and add the little like chanty part. And it actually turned out really cool. And it definitely has become my favorite song to play live just because it's really cool to like hear everybody like doing the chant when we're like playing it. So I think that's a cool thing about this song that we kind of weren't really expecting, was like how fun it would be to play.
I can imagine that because the verses build, you can hear it building, and then it's just like an explosion when the chorus hits, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
What I was going to say? I constantly lose track of where I'm at my notes, but the line, "Don't take back what you said to me. I know it's what you mean." That line is poignant, and I think really stuck with me. I like that line a lot.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Who does a lot of the writing for these songs? Is it like a group effort or lyrical?
You were gonna say "Who hurt you, Audra?" And I was like,
no.
True.
Who hurt you?
I know that everybody's like has all these conspiracy theories after listening to the album. But we do a lot of this stuff together. And especially for like this next one, even we've been already just talking about like how we want to write, and if we want to write, like get all this stuff down together and then go out, bring it to some writers. But it is cool to like work with different writers and kind of like get their take on the song. And I think that helped us a lot. But I think like for this next album, we like definitely have a better idea of like the process and like how we want to do it.
Awesome. And it was, I say awesome. It's also an awesome transition. I loved it from the end of the bridge going back into the final chorus. That was fantastic.
Thanks.
Just a Friend. The drums drew my attention right away on this song. Like the drums to me, as the casual listener, sound like they're really driving this one for me, particularly the pre-chorus.
Yeah,
the
drums. The drums on Just a Friend, that's like the John and Steven Gomez specialty. Like that song to me, whenever I hear it, just screams like Gomez brothers for some reason. I like the little, it's almost like a pseudo marching band kind of beat in there. Yeah, I like it. It's very good, like dynamically transitional, drum beat. I think it's awesome. Very like 4 on the floor kind of stuff. So that's like been definitely like the sound of the first record a little bit. Like there's definitely a handful of songs that sound like that.
It certainly sounds like a song about cheating. Basically.
Yeah, no, pretty much. The idea of this song was like, being in like a relationship and just like having like the biggest trust issues ever. So like you look into like every little tiny detail like very intensely, you know what I mean? So like, people can't have friends when they're with you because you're like, oh my gosh, like are they like dating them? Are they cheating on me? You know what I mean? So like that was kind of the idea behind this song.
I also love the part where there's a switch up on the final chorus where like the music drops out and Audra, it's just your voice for 2 lines and then a little, again, a wind up, as I like to call it musically, to kind of finish off the song. It sounds fantastic. Yeah,
that first part of the chorus with the "she's just a friend" where it like drops out there. Yeah, I do really like that part.
Porcelain. Right off the bat, I love the chorus. It's fantastic.
True. Oh, keep going. I love this song.
I do love this song.
I take it he's highly invested in this song.
Nah, I'm highly invested in Sam being highly invested in this song.
I was gonna say,
Matt, dude, no.
Dude, I love this song.
Well, I was gonna say Sam came up with the idea for the first vocal of this like chorus where it goes into the "I'm not expecting you to go," that part.
Yeah.
And I remember when he showed me that, and I was like, this is the best idea like ever.
Yeah, it almost made me think like, why do we even have Audra?
Yeah, me too.
Sammy sing this, bro.
I was like, oh my
Sammy,
god,
grab that microphone.
But yeah, that was like my favorite thing. I remember like we were just sitting in a room and Sam was like, what about this? And I was like, what? Like, that is the coolest thing ever. And it has definitely become one of my favorite songs from the album too.
You joke, why do you have an Audra? Your voice is great on it, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Being definite, the message of the song sounds like it's a person basically trying to project their image of you on you, and it's not at all how you are.
Wow.
Hey man,
Yes.
life of a YouTuber, am I right? Yeah. It was funny. I was about to say, like, a lot of these songs, we really just we don't have a lot of life experience. I won't lie. We've been sitting in a studio making covers our entire life.
And you guys are still pretty young, right? Early 20s?
Yeah, 20, just turned 21, baby.
Nice.
I'm still 20, yeah.
But so we just took a lot of like what our friends go through and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just made up like fake things.
Scenarios in our heads that we were like,
I think that's like the one that Audra and all of us can especially relate to, because it's just like, yeah, no, I get that one. That one was definitely more of like a personal like song and experience from the album, where a lot of the other ones were just like, you know, things that we thought would be a cool idea, things that we've heard other people go through. But I think this one is definitely like the most personal song for sure. Yeah, Audra can't get broken up with if she never dates anybody. So
exactly.
We just gotta pretend.
We just let other people do that, and then we write about it.
And then we just like, tell me. I swear to God,
tell us more about this.
Audra's friends call her at night, and they're like,
oh, yeah, right.
So, being a musician is a part-time therapist. That's kind of what it is.
Yes, you're so right.
What's great about the song, like we joke about that, like lyrically, you're talking about you're not allowed to be brave, paper skin, mind to match. You know, you're made of porcelain, but the music and the tone that it's delivered in just makes it gives it that empowering, strong type feeling to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very like almost like sarcastically written, you know, chorus, I feel. But I think you're absolutely right. It definitely like comes off that way when you listen to the song for the first time.
Holding On. I like this song a lot. It's a little slower than the songs on the album up until this point. I love the vocals, the stretched out Hold On part where we're singing over that. I love that technique. That's a fantastic technique. And of course, the background drums in that section too are fantastic. I like it. And
that song was like co-written by, I don't know if you'd even guess this, but the guy who very often works with the band Paris, this rock band. I don't know. I think they're on Rise or something. But they,
well, I mean, the ones we just did the remix with, actually.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that was kind. I think that was more of like a lyrically driven thing, and so I think the drums kind of play the role very nicely. It's almost like a little drum like loop. And then when we brought that finished song to the Gomez brothers, we were like, awesome. Like, now let's amp this up a little bit. Like, I can remember Matt and I sitting down and trying to figure out like cool guitar parts to get the dynamics to boost up a little bit. Cause the original demo for Holding On was like really, really beautiful and pretty, but it also was like just a little too like mellow, so to speak. Like
it was more like a ballad, even more than it is now.
That doesn't totally surprise me. It seems like it could certainly be written that way.
Yeah, that's definitely how it started off. Yeah.
I did make a note about the guitar. I really enjoyed the funky kind of guitar playing in the bridge.
Yeah, I can't even tell you what the bridge is right now. Me too. Dude, I need to go listen to these songs again, because we were talking about like practicing to like get ready to like not be bad at our instruments. I was like, we'll start after Christmas.
There you go. It's the holiday spirit.
Before this, I was like, I'm gonna listen through to the album and just make sure I like remember every single tiny thing about this.
Well, see, I shouldn't speak for everyone, but I got so stressed before the Against the Current tour we did with them that I listened to our music
so much,
for like 2 months straight, and then we played the tour. And then when I got home,
then when you're done, you're just like,
I was like, Concrete who? What? I ain't listening to this anymore.
That doesn't surprise me, man. Like when it's your job, when you got to go out there and play, sure, that needs to be your focus. But I totally get bands not caring to listen to themselves when they don't really have to.
Exactly.
The one thing that I kind of like more about First to 11 than Concrete Castle is it happens so fast that you still have that excitement for the songs when they come out. So you release a cover, it's only been done for like a month maybe. So So you still got that hypeness. You're still
These
proud
have
of
been
it.
done for like 4 years.
These songs have been done for so long that everyone's like, "Are you excited? You have your album out?" I'm like, "Oh, it's out? What?
We're like, finally,
Good.
thank God.
It should have been out."
Well, we'll touch on that after we go through the songs. But the other podcast you guys were on. I actually forgot the name. So I forgot the name of the podcast. You guys did it not long ago. But the story of going out to Arizona to record the podcast and COVID. Well, I want to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But Half Awake, this song right off the bat gives me a little bit of Church's vibes. Because
Ooh.
it sounds like it brings in a more like electronic experimental type sound.
You guys get this one. This is yours.
We were just like, I mean, we play a lot of heavy music in First 11 and we listen to a lot of heavy music. And like, just as like, I think it's a point to try to kind of maybe not be so scared to put in more guitars, like Half Awake in the next album. But like, we were just like, we need one song to just absolutely just do whatever we want to instrument wise. And we picked that one. So like, dude, we're in the studio and we're like breaking our instruments trying to get into drop B because like you listen to Holding On, you're like, oh yeah, standard, just gonna chill out there. And we're just like tuning all our guitars down, trying to like
all the way down.
Put the guitars as low as possible to try to like, I don't know, go kind of crazy with it.
I mean, it definitely sounds different than anything else on the album up to this point. Structurally, musically, everything on it. There's like kind of double choruses. Cool guitar, again, wind up siren sound is just what I wrote down. And then there's the line that I really love. I'll show myself I can do what they have never said. That line was really cool. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, this song was definitely like one that was written like kind of right around the time where we were like deciding whether we should like go to college or like, you know, do this band thing full time. So that kind of had like a pretty big influence on like writing this song and being like, no, you can do this and like still be successful and like you don't have to do what everybody else does.
Nice. Atmosphere, super catchy song. I think my favorite part of it is the music change up where Audra, you go and sing the line. It's these Sunday afternoons, the guitar change up there. That beat.
That's my favorite part also.
And I love the bridge breakdown of Giller saying the transition back into the final chorus. So how did Atmosphere come about?
Atmosphere was written in like 10 minutes. Being totally honest, like
I didn't even like this song, to be honest. Like when we were deciding which song should be on the album, I was like, I don't like this,
dude. Me and then
Sam, it ended up on here. Now
Sam
it's like
was
one of
like
my favorites.
My great captain, and I was a fearless follower. And we went to die on Atmosphere's
No,
hill.
that's so true. And I was just like, I don't know. Like,
because the
really
label was like, I don't know. And I was just like, yeah, I don't even like the lyrics. Me and Sam were like back to back. Like,
you guys are like, it's going on the album. And now it's like, it's one of my favorites in the album now. And also like other people's favorites too. Like we've seen it like really climb up in like our Spotify, like, you know, we can see like how many streams it's gotten. And it's really been making its way up to the top with like the rest of the singles.
I always really like the song because I think it's one of the only songs that accomplishes it is like in a league of its own. Because in my head, I like group our songs together in like style and like how they feel and how they play. So like in my head, it's like, okay, Half Awake and Wish I Missed You are in like the same boat. Yeah. And then like it's like Holding On and Say It and Mess and like kind of Hidden Faces, and Hidden Faces is kind of like in between the
Hidden Faces, like just a friend,
like, Porcelain. But Atmosphere is like the only one to me that kind of
I agree.
It accomplishes something completely different than I think any of the other songs do. And I really was like, you know, I understood why they might have not liked it for the album, but I was like, this song is gonna crush live. And I'm like,
it does too.
I can imagine.
It needs to be on the album so we can play it live.
So we can play
I was like, I don't even care if it tanks on the album. It needs to be there because I know it isn't
so well.
Dude, it fits in great. It doesn't sound out of place by any means. It sounds like it belongs right where it is.
Dude, I was like, I looked at Sam one day. I'm like, Sam, you want Atmosphere on the album, don't you? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, we're gonna do it.
And there it
is. Put it on there. Consider it done.
That's pretty hilarious. Suburbia's up next. Another slower song. It feels like you were excited.
We had to fight for that one on the album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is another one that I was like, it needs to make it to the live show.
Yeah,
And
this was
yeah.
like our personal. We were all three of us were like, no, we really like the song, and like the label and management and stuff are like, I don't know, like we have some other songs that sound like this, and we were like no.
Hey,
we
they
need to
laughed
put
at
this
me
on.
because they were like, you guys need to put a list together of like what songs you want to do music videos for and what songs are going to be singles. I could put Suburbia
Yeah.
number 2
Yep.
above Half Awake.
Oh,
And they're
wow.
like, are you smoking crack, man? I was like, bro, I love this song. The
No,
only thing,
I do.
I
love
listened
that
back to
song.
it, and this is like a song that I love, but also kind of demonstrates like the only thing, everything I don't like about the album as well. And that is really just from a personal standpoint of being too scared to like do what I wanted to do. Cause like, I just wish we would have made those choruses hit like way, way more. Cause I think it could have not only made it sit with the album a lot better, but also be more our style. Cause like, I will admit, that one was definitely heavily influenced by the Somerset vibe, John and Steven being like, this is our kind of music. Let me show you the ropes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, they're the masters of that.
And we were
Take
like,
one
you
riff,
killed
you
this.
loop that shit through the whole song and you just dance to it.
Yeah.
But like, I just wish I would have been able to like, okay, I love the riff. I love everything about it. Just really take those choruses and raise it up another level. But I still love the song.
Is that
And we do
something
that live.
I was gonna say, is that something you try to do live? Is
It
play
is.
it with
I
that
definitely
Mhm.
changed like my guitar tones and try to carry the song, you know.
Yeah.
And like I think even Sammy adds a little bit more, you know, just flair to the drums, just to
Yeah.
kind of
I mean, even when
separate
I
that part from everything else.
even when I sing it live, instead of singing like the vocal line that's actually there, I'll sing like all the ad libs that are in the background, like the super high, like, you know, kind of more intense like vocals in the song. But yeah, I think that is definitely something. It's also just a lot that we've learned from like listening back to this album, is just being like, okay, what do we want to do on the next album?
That post chorus can get so heavy. I think like one thing I want to do for writing on this next album, we already started to do it way more, is like I just want a guitar and like stand behind the drums way more and to test songs out
Mhm.
before we like record them. Cause like
Yeah.
we wrote a lot, but we never like played a lot of these
Played
songs
them.
before we recorded them. So like sitting down and just making sure like, hey, we're not like, because I don't know if you are a musician or not, but like playing it live with a full band, you just see the song way differently than when
It's
you're
so
sitting and
different,
writing
yeah.
it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So like, I just wish we would have taken the time to do that. And we're
Mhm.
definitely going to on this next album.
Yeah.
Just so like you can catch those things with Suburbia and you can catch those little things on the album that are like, okay, I want it to sound like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've played a little guitar on and off. I've never taken the time to really sit down and learn it. I've got a couple chords down. I had a Les Paul, not a Les Paul, an Epiphone. It looks like a Gibson. I can't even think of the type of guitar. I don't have that anymore. I want to get a Telecaster though, and I kind of want to get a bass, a Mike Herrera MXPX Fender bass. I'm itching to kind of get to have fun with, but I know the exact feeling you're talking about because I'm a huge Jimmy Eat World fan, and when Futures came out, that song 23 just fucking hit me right here. And I remember reading articles and they're like, a lot of the shit they can't learn how to play at a live show. Like they can't get it down because there's just so much involved, because obviously it's a completely different thing when you're in a studio and as opposed to getting together with 3 or 4 or 5 guys and trying to.
Like I said, I think this is definitely more a guitar thing than really a drums or vocals thing. Maybe for Audra, but like I really kind of want to like eliminate that problem, because that happened not a lot and we can get over it, but that happened like a couple times in some of our songs. I'm like, man, it's kind of hard for me to play that part live and keep the song like at a level that it needs to be. Because like the thing I hate most, and like I said, I'm not trying to condemn Jimmy Eat World, is I hate when I go to shows and the band doesn't play the song how I want to hear the song play. Like,
no, I get it, man. No, I get that too. Yeah.
So it's really just like making sure that, you know, if the song is crushing it, you got to crush it there. Like trying to keep the same energy level. I don't really care about the parts so much, more just so the energy. Like the worst thing like that I could ever imagine is me going to a show and a band's like, we're gonna play this song acoustic. I'm like, no.
Oh,
I don't want to hear it acoustic.
I've had that happen. I'm like, I'm a sucker for a good acoustic song, but not when this is a well-established song that I love.
Not
and
when
want
you
to hear
have
this
it
way.
in your head that you want to hear it electric.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
you know, that's just how I feel. So really just trying to make sure that like, you know, we're hitting every single mark, like, you know, and then also being able to surpass it. Like if it's this big on the album, I want it this big live, like just making sure that, you know, when people come to see us, they're like, damn, bro, that's kind of nasty.
Also, the theme in Suburbia, I thought that really sticks with you is kind of that feeling of growing up in a town and just dreaming of getting out.
Exactly.
Dude,
Yeah,
and it's funny.
We
Like,
didn't need friends to write that one.
No.
We did not. We did
I'm like,
not.
it's so easy to connect to. And it's funny. I think about that when I drive to work in the morning. I'm driving through, like, I live in Schenectady, New York right now, just next to Albany. Basically, Schenectady, Albany is my home. I lived in South Carolina for a while, for 5 years. I left when I was 14 and then came back here right before I turned 21. So I kind of got that time away from my home. And I felt like that it makes me appreciate the area again now. As a kid, I thought I wanted to get out of so bad. I assume that kind of feeling is similar to something you guys have had when you wrote this song.
Let me out, man. Let me out. I think honestly, our managers in LA didn't like this song because they don't even get it. They don't understand the song. Because I would try to do my best Michael. I'll try to do my best Michael impression.
Michael's our manager.
I love LA. What more do you need?
That's so true. He does do
you
that.
can walk and you can get any. I love it here. It's always nice. I'm like, shut up, Michael. It's like 20 degrees here. Shut up. Michael will just send us photos of him, you know, playing outside with his kid, you know, running around 60
Going
degree
to
weather
like get
in December.
food.
I'm like shoveling snow so I can go to work.
off
I'm
like the
this
car.
This is garbage, bro. You don't get it, Michael. That's why you didn't like the song. You goon.
Wow. Thrill, like I said, first song I love, or first song I heard. I guess love and heard, same thing. Just you know, the slow verse at the beginning and then build into the chorus where it really exploded. We don't want to wait until the clock runs out. Don't want to wait until we're 6 feet under the ground. Clearly trying to live life to the fullest, I assume.
Yeah.
And just loving life. And
Yeah, this was actually, you said first song you heard. It was actually the first song we wrote for the album also. So it was like
The whole reason Concrete Castles is here, baby.
true. It
Yeah,
kind of
I remember-
is. Yeah.
I think I was like 16 or something. I forget when we got the first demo back for it, but like it was a long, like years ago.
Yeah. I was
Remember
15, I think, when we wrote it.
oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
And I went out, I was at like a dinner or something, and I hate saying this, but I went to go listen to the song like for the first time, and I was like, song sucks. Like put my phone down because in my head I was like, I don't want to play like pop, like polished kind of stuff. And then
And look at him now.
and look at me
And
now.
look at him
I know.
now.
Now when everyone in you know like in like a 500 capacity venue Chicago's like singing throw, I'm like let's go. Like I get so hyped.
See, Thrill is like definitely one we have like, well, at least me, but I think all of us have a love-hate relationship
Yeah,
with.
for sure.
Because like, yeah, great song. It's why we're here, but it's also like, it's that time factor. It's like, I've heard this song for 5 years. I don't want to play this song anymore,
yeah.
man.
True.
So like the worst thing is like, I'll just admit it. We just look at each other when we're making sets and we're like, so we're not putting Thrill in this set, right? And we're all like, yeah.
We do that.
And
And then we're like,
we
oh
go
my
to
God,
the
it has
show,
our band name in it. Like, what
and
are
then
we
we go play the
doing?
show, and at the merch table, they're like, why didn't you play Thrill? I'm like, I want to. I don't want to play that song. But no, we know better now. We're done ego.
We do know better now. Yeah.
We just put it in every set. I
We're
don't
like,
care.
oh, okay, throw it in
Well,
there.
Whatever.
I definitely totally get that just as a music lover and knowing the songs I latch onto with the songs
Mhm.
bands released as a single, being shocked when I go to a concert expecting to hear a song, even if it's not one of my favorites and they don't play it,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like I remember going to see Better Than Ezra and they didn't play Desperately Wanting. I saw the Ataris and they hate playing their cover song.
Mhm.
They did that made them
yeah.
blow up. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Boys
Yeah.
of Summer. That song's
Yeah.
amazing.
it's fantastic. But I remember seeing that they got
See-
so sick of playing it.
I just
Mhm.
look at it like, I mean, we did it for the first tour because I mean, also no one really knew this that much, anyways. I mean, people still don't really, but that's fine. But
Oh,
I
they
think
will
it-
after today.
oh, they will. Oh, they'll
True.
come.
Yeah.
They'll be there. No, I think it's really just like we just kind of got to step back and really look like, okay, I mean, we're gonna enjoy what the people want to hear. If they want to hear Thrill, I'll play Thrill for the rest of my
True.
life. I don't really care anymore. It was
Yeah.
just like the first, like when it's like our preteen phase where I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna play Thrill. I'm over it. And now, like you said, like you get back home and you kind of like it and you're like comfortable and you kind of fall back into it. That's where I'm at with Thrill now, where I'm just like Sam said, you see people singing it back to you and you're like, I've always liked this song. What are you talking about? I've never said anything bad about this.
It's interesting because it's obviously a different time in your life. When you look back in another 5 years, do you enjoy playing it? Just because you can look at that with a different perspective. I remember watching a video of Mark Hoppus talking about singing What's My Age Again, which he wrote over 20 years ago at this point. And it's like, it's so different now that I just love doing it all over again. I'm curious about the video, because the video is just a lot of color flying all over the place. What was that like?
Terrible.
It was really hard to breathe. There was a lot of
that doesn't
dust
surprise
in our
me.
nose.
I was like, what is that dust or just, I don't even know what that is.
Something
It's
weird.
like
Chalk.
it's the chalk that they use for like the Hindu like celebration.
Holly festival or
Diwali?
something? I don't know.
I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to butcher
No, I
this.
don't.
So
I
I'm
just
just
don't
saying
remember
like
what the
that.
name is.
It's that same kind of like, I think it's a starchy like
Yes.
colored thing. I don't know. All I know is it got in my nasal cavity and I was shooting snot rockets in between takes
Like,
of
just
various colors.
dust.
It'd be
I
like
remember
red,
just like
green, yellow, just all the colors of the rainbow.
You're making
Well,
a bowl
and
of
it's
Lucky
like-
Charms.
I would
Dude,
be
true.
singing like the woes in like the chorus. Like my mouth would be open the whole time. And like in the chorus, they would just nail us in the face with like this dust. And I was like, I'm just eating this. Like, is this
That's
okay?
right. Yeah.
Am I allowed to do this?
They put the nice people on Audra. They got the stagehands to come throw dust at me. These people have lifted things for probably 30 years in LA. So they just come
They were
out. Ooh. I'm like, please go easy on me. Baseball pitching dust at me. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I literally got hit in the back of the head for one take. And I was like, bro, I know this is just like dust. Why does it feel like a brick? What is going on?
That's hilarious.
It was very fun though.
It was also so funny because like the director was like, you guys want to watch this? But like obviously they're shooting in a very flat color profile.
It just looks like
So-
nothing.
We're
Oh,
watching
man.
it and it's like everything's gray because like he has to color correct it. And like we all actually know a little bit more about video than probably most. So we were like, oh, it looks sick. He's like, guys, I swear, it's gonna look better when it's
We were
colored.
like, no, it's okay.
I'm like, we got you,
understand.
brother. But it's so
Yeah.
funny just watching it without any color correction because it
Yeah.
looks actually pretty bad. 'Cause
Even
it's
like
just,
the first few
gray
like
dust.
versions we got were like not as intense as it is
Wow,
now.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's just so bright and colorful watching it on.
Mhm.
Exactly. It needs to be that bright and colorful. Because if
True.
it's not, you're just like, what is going? Why
What
are they
is
getting?
this?
Yes.
Why is dirt getting thrown on them?
Say It, the next song up is this song has a unique sound to it too in my ear, like Half Awake did. It has a little bit more
Wow, that's-
of
That's really funny
Sorry,
because it was
that's
written
really
with the
funny that
same
you
person.
say that. Yeah. Say It and Half Awake were co-written by a guy who's like a big time metal producer.
Mhm.
And also what's weird is he has a very like interesting like signature of doing very weird song structures.
Yep.
Like it is a bit unpredictable, like if a chorus is gonna come up, if it's gonna be a dropout, just kind of cool. But like at the same time, like Say It was one that we all very much had to warm up to, like
Mhm.
very heavily debated if we wanted it on there. Like, but the weirdest thing, I don't know if I'll ever truly figure this out, but our label, like everyone on our label is just like,
True,
Say
they
It is the
loved
big
it.
one. This is the big kahuna. And we're like,
And we were like,
I
no.
just don't like, I could not see what they were seeing. And eventually
No.
I don't know about you guys, but eventually I was like, you know what? They're smarter than me. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to turn it over to them.
I did
What-
the same thing. I was just like, well, guess they must know something we don't. And then we
I
just put it
didn't.
on there.
Yeah. Matt did not.
I didn't. I fought. So I was a lone wolf on that hill to not put Say It on the album, and I'll
Wow.
still die on that hill. I don't
What's-
care.
What's funny is like this song didn't strike me at first. If I was putting this in order on the album, there's every song before this would have been before, but I found myself with this chorus stuck in my head probably more than any other, and now I love it. It was another one that had to really build on me.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I-
like it just kind of subconsciously got
Mhm.
wrapped its
we
grip.
definitely warmed up to it. The thing that
Yeah.
cooled me off on it again is we tried to play
Playing
it
it
live.
live. No.
It,
Doesn't work.
I'll tell you point blank, Chris. You're never hearing that song live.
No,
It's a good
true,
warning.
though. There are some songs where you just like you play them in front of an audience and you're like, this is very boring. And like people still like the song, but we were like, it's not fun to play live. So it's just one that like it's cool on the album, but like we probably won't play it again.
There's a lot of stuff going on when that chorus hits, like I said, and that's what kind of wrapped its grips on my brain.
The hardest thing about that, and it's like why if I'm being honest and not just gonna be blind hating it, why I never liked it for the album, because there's a lot going on. But being a 3-piece and having a chorus that has a lot going on, but none of it being drums or guitar, I think
makes
is like
it very difficult,
not a great idea.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of guitar or drums going on in that chorus. So like that's why it is just so boring live.
Yeah.
Because like it's basically like you go from having like an actual like band playing to like it's like a DJ break.
I get it. Yep.
Because like and like honestly, I'll put some of the blame on us. I think we could definitely rework the song to play it live. I'm just too lazy to do it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think if we like switched it up, Sam wrote a whole new drum like part that like fits more live, and I played a different guitar to it.
It's weirdly hard to sing live too, which is something I kind of wasn't expecting.
It's just you know, I've come to like the song and respect what it is, and I'm really happy we put it out. And I think it works great on the album, especially where it does to break up, you know, the sound of the album. But live, it's a great sound check song.
We do sound check with it. No,
it's
that's
amazing
so true. Every night we did.
Dude, really?
The samples are just bumping, so you give the sound guy a good, you know, indication of what's to come.
True.
So like, you know, let me rephrase my previous statement. Chris, if you come watch a sound check, you will hear
you will hear say it.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. If you guys come to the upstate New York area, I will just knock on the door and said, yeah, they said it's okay. I can come listen to the sound check.
We'll let you in.
And of course, the album wraps up with the song Mess, which is just a phenomenal song all around.
I love Mess.
I love this song. I hate recording it.
It's such a great way to close out the album.
I agree.
I was gonna say we kind of all had the same thoughts on that too. We were just like, man, this is just a good song.
It's
this is your build up song.
Yeah, it really, son of a bitch, it is. Yeah, and again, it is. I feel like it's like the best writing and lyrics on the album for me. Like Thrill was the first one I heard. I still love Thrill, but listening to this song, it's like it is. I think you refer to it as like 3 different songs in one, basically. At some point on that other podcast.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is. And I think what the most interesting part about that as I listen to it is you're building, you're basically changing it up with every verse and chorus. You're singing the same way and it still works.
Yeah, it's definitely one. Well, it's another one with like the demo like that we originally had. It was all acoustic. Like the song was just originally an acoustic song, and it just didn't turn out like that.
The instrumental of
hold on one.
Oh, sorry.
So we do so much shopping online, and not once do I ever have to sign for a package. The one time they tell me I have a package coming in and I need to sign for it, I'm like, sure, it'll come in the 1 hour of the day where I actually have something going on.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sam, were you talking about Mess, I believe?
Oh yeah, I'm setting Matthew up right now for an alley-oop, but like the instrumental of that song did not start out very enchanting, but by the end of it, maybe one of my favorite just moments in the recording process was just like putting in all the new drums and hearing all the new guitar parts. Like, oof, I could just, Matt,
I agree. Yeah.
When I saw Mess in my head, it was there. The song was there, and we were like, we got to get it on this computer screen right here. Because like, my favorite thing in the recording process is the very end where you just keep picking up different guitars and layering sounds and seeing how it all sounds. And like I said, I'm a sucker to build that song for the whole 3 minutes. So each chorus, we just grab more guitars and more guitars and different sounds and different effects. I'm just like,
yeah,
this song is amazing.
It was so funny too, because this was like the last song that we recorded for the album, and everybody was like really excited about this. It was the last song, like we were about to wrap up. And I think I have a video on my phone of all of us just sitting in the room, just listening to Mess like for the first time all the way through when we got done. And everybody just looked so excited. like listening to that song.
That's an awesome experience. The line, you had artificial expectations, and I know I can't live up to them. That was a cool line. I also thought artificial expectations would be a great name for an album, as when I heard that.
Ooh, we're writing that one down.
There you go. And like I said, I loved everything about the chorus. Like I said, it's
I love this chorus so much.
Yeah, this chorus is.
I actually, you
definitely
know
one of my
what?
favorites.
Next, if we have to get on another podcast sometime with you and just go through all the reimagined Concrete Castle songs, because
I'm down.
I would have a mouthful to say about those.
Mike, me too, man. I love those reimagined songs.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Once they come out on like streaming.
Yeah, I was
platforms,
gonna
we'll
say
do
when
that.
they're out, let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd love to do that. But
Sweet.
yeah, like I said, this was without a doubt one of your best songs. I thought it was a great way to wrap up the album. Like,
Thank
and when I sent Thrill and this to my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, just this is the band I'm talking to tomorrow. And she just fell in love with, she liked Thrill a lot. And then she fell in love with this. She's like, how'd you know I like that? I'm like, because I know what you like.
Yeah.
Audra, you mentioned it earlier. The most exciting song for you guys to play live. What do you take a lot of satisfaction out of?
I do enjoy playing Hidden Faces a lot because that one was like, I don't know, when we were doing that chorus, I was like, this is just gonna vocally just work so well live because there's just so much interaction like with the crowd that you can do in that song. And I think for me that's really fun. But also I have to say I love singing Mess live. I know we're just talking about Mess Love, but I love singing that song live.
Matt and Sam?
My favorite, it's also my least favorite. It's Half Awake. I love playing that song live, but my God, does it gas me.
Yeah.
So the biggest problem with it is our sets for our tour. We had a couple different sets, and one set, it started the show, and the other set, it ended the show. My God, did I love when it ended the show and I could just not do anything afterwards. Oh my Lord.
But when it was number one?
Because when it was the first song and I'd go out and I'd play it, I'd be like, I don't think I can play the rest of these songs. I'm going to die. Mind you, we're only playing for 30 minutes. Like, it's not that long of a time. But I just love playing that song so much. I cannot pace myself and absolutely just kill myself.
In the first song.
If Half Awake is last, it's over. I love that. If Half Awake is first, I'm not gonna have a good show. It's not gonna be a good time.
It's impossible for me to pick which one's my favorite to play live, but I can give you probably like the top 3 contenders.
Sure.
Suburbia is fun because that is for me like a playground. Like there's so much cool little drum work in that I just genuinely have fun physically playing that song. Atmosphere to me is super fun because like that song is very like playful and upbeat, up tempo. And then I personally love playing Wish I Missed You because as a closer, I think for me, like as a closer, Wish I Missed You, like it's a build. So it's between Wish I Missed You and Mess because they're both that big, cinematic build up thing. But Wish I Missed You, I don't know, just like how heavy. Honestly, I think I love playing that song because of for Matt playing it, like just that don't.
That song like, is amazing.
That's some of my favorite guitar on the album is from that song.
Yeah, that song makes me like want to like just break shit and hurt people. Like I get crazy eyes when I play that song. Like I'm like, oh.
I think that's the funniest thing is like we're a lot more aggressive on stage and like live than I think a lot of people would probably think. Because, like, honestly, you can't really see us. The guitars are a little toned back on the album, and all you hear is Audra's voice. So you're probably like, oh, it's going to be just a little cute little kid
when we
standing
play
on
live,
stage.
though.
Me and Sam are literally trying to break our bodies in half when we play some of these songs.
Oh, man.
I like Suburbia because it's, like, one of those songs I can just chill on. Because Audra takes over that song. She'll do the, hey, and I can just, I play the same thing for 3 minutes. I just sit in the back. I'm catching my breath from Half Awake because for some reason we put it first. I'm just like playing Suburbia. I like that.
Nice. So what lessons do you think you guys will take from this album into the next one?
stop being such big babies.
Good point.
Yeah. No, that's
I
true.
feel like
yeah.
we are on baby mode with this album.
I think we were just like, it was our first one. Like we had just signed with our label, with our management. There's a lot of people you're trying to please when you think about writing your first album. And a lot of it is like, do we think people will like this? Like, and you think about that more than you kind of think about what you want to do. So I think listening back to this album, there's a lot of stuff that we will do differently in terms of like the writing process and like what we're putting into the songs and like how we think they'll translate live. And I think that will be more of like what we focus on this time.
I do also just want to note as an asterisk to that is like, it was at none of the fault of the actual labels or managers or anything. We just
were in our own heads.
They were like, do whatever, record whatever you want to record. Yeah. And we just wrote this narrative in our heads that was like, this is what you need to sound like.
We were like, we have to do it right. Like, we need to get it like this.
And they were very supportive. They're like, that sounds great. Love the songs. But this album, I think we're going to really show like our, we'll flex our muscles a little bit, our truest colors. Yeah. It's not that we're going to change our entire genre or any of the songs. It's just like turn all the songs up to 11. No, but just go 100% all the songs instead of like, you know what I mean? I'd probably give some of these songs like 70%, 80% like to where we thought they could be, but adding that extra 20% on top just to be like, dude, these songs crush.
Yeah, I agree.
These songs are going to, you're going to want to hurt somebody to these songs.
I feel like maybe this is just me. Like, again, I won't speak for everyone, but I think I lost track of the idea that like most of the bands who are on our label are like heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Some of them are. Oh yeah.
Some of them are like just damn heavy. And I'm like, man, we got to make sure we sound like pretty polished and pinkies up, posh or whatever. But like we're like, wait, tracks that we'd send them like demos to songs that we were like, yeah, probably way too heavy, and they were like, "Hey, let's go!" So I have a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah, they just loved everything like that, and they were just like, "Do whatever you want to do." So that has been really, really helpful too.
I think it's also like the people we write with, honestly, and like record with, don't actually really do heavy music. So I think it's like, let's just make our demos just the scariest sounding stuff ever,
and then tone it back with
they'll curve it back as we write with them. They'll be like, maybe don't do that guitar part. This 3-minute breakdown does not need to be in the song, Matthew. This is not necessary.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome to have a label less supportive of you guys. But I understand the idea of, obviously you're signed for a reason, you're talented, you do awesome music, but at the same time, your first album, like what do they expect? You're still trying to kind of get to know what their reaction is going to be like.
Yeah, exactly.
I mentioned this earlier, the crazy story. These songs were written a while ago, right? And you guys, the plan before the pandemic, of course, was to record this album a while ago. Is that out in Arizona?
Yeah, we were like, you guys ready to record the album? And then COVID happened, like literally the
week we were supposed to leave
or something.
Yeah. We were supposed to leave the day after everything shut down for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was like March 2020.
Yeah, it literally was that March, like when everything started to shut down, and they called us and they were just like, so you guys can like still come, I guess, but like there's no like food here because everybody just like emptied out the grocery stores, and like I don't know what's gonna happen.
They would have had to drag me there. I was not going.
We were like, no, that's okay. We'll just wait another year.
It's crazy. One last question. I think will be fun to wrap things up. What is everyone currently listening to? What have you guys spinning on? Whatever you use to listen to your tunes.
Get them, Sammy.
Oh, sorry. I meant I need 5 seconds.
Okay.
But I've been listening to a lot of this new artist. Her name is Lily McAlpine. Me and Matt were just listening to her the other day. Nice. But she did like some covers with this band on YouTube called Scary Pockets, and then I started listening to all of her original stuff, and it's so good. So I've been listening to that. I've been listening to a lot of Nothing But Thieves, and I've been listening to a lot of this group called Between Friends. That's what I've been listening to.
Between Friends. That name sounds familiar.
Yes, I'm obsessed with their song. Yeah, Sam showed me their song Affection, I think. And that was like my number 2 on my Spotify this year, but I've been listening to them a lot.
Yeah. I've been really into the 2 genres that I've been like very into right now are like 90s alt and like overly polished pop. Like I have a lot of, lately I've been listening to a lot of Smashing Pumpkins and Limp Bizkit and Radiohead. and then literally right after that, I have like.
Does that explains the wanting to break stuff reference earlier?
Yeah.
I assume.
Yes. Yeah, true. No, I want to just smash everything. No, but and then the other side of things, I have like Drake, Passion Pit, Omar Apollo, Olivia Looney, like lots of like very overly produced, like pretty stuff.
Nice. So that Melancholy, man, one of the greatest albums I think ever made. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
For me, I'm just going through my catalog of bands that I cannot get enough of their guitar riffs right now. Because like I said, we're gearing up for the second album. We're starting to write. I'm really like trying to get in that mindset of like, don't be a baby, Matthew, write these big boy parts. So Smashing Pumpkins, we just did a Smashing Pumpkins like cover on one of our live streams for First to 11. So that's reignited me wanting to listen to them. I've been listening to Hum. I've been listening to Far. I've been listening to, what else have I been listening to? Old Foo Fighters.
Nice.
Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
Color and the Shape, or even earlier.
Yes. Color and the Shape. And what's after that? There's Nothing Left to Lose, right?
Yep.
I think that's the next one.
I think that was the next
albums. Like a whole lot. Every Time I Die, Don Broco. Like, I'm trying to span an entire, like, you know, I guess like span of guitar heaviness and playing, and just trying to kind of find my place in it. Cause like Every Time I Die, that's a little too far right there. But Foo Fighters, you know, I could probably amp it up a little bit. So just trying to find my place in the middle between like all these bands, and like just trying to figure out like, okay, how do we want to do this? And like Audra said, Nothing But Thieves, like, bro, I just listen to their choruses over and over again, because just like I love that orchestral operatic almost feeling like chorus. But I'm just like, okay, how can we like implement that without the orchestra, because stuff, we don't have a lot of money to make these albums.
Nice.
We don't have a lot of money to get a whole orchestra.
We're like we're like one guitar player, a kid that can play every instrument under the sun, and then Audra. So it's just like, yeah, we don't got that. Unless Sam, unless you want to play the entire orchestra by yourself.
Sounds kind of fun.
Why not? Give it a try.
Yeah, for real.
Please don't say that. He probably would do a great job, but it'd take so long.
It would take a long time.
Let's plan it for like 2 albums from now. And like, all right, now you're ready to go.
Now we can do it.
Yeah. I've been stuck on a huge Grayscale kick.
Nice.
For any of you guys that are familiar with them, I've been listening to them. I mentioned it in my last episode too, because I saw them. I got into them because Young Culture was opening for them, and then it just kind of took over my Spotify. Actually, I just got their second album on vinyl that showed up in the mail yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking forward to the vinyl for Wish I Missed You. I think is in March, right?
Yes, yeah, I know.
Because vinyl takes so long to get made.
Crazy, yeah.
Yo, we have vinyls. That's sick.
Yeah,
I forgot about those.
Yeah, no, I know. When they told us they're making them, they're like, yeah, it's just not going to be here till like next year because
it's
of how
insane.
Far behind production is on.
There's only like
right
three companies in the world that where all the vinyls come from, and
and with COVID, everything is like so backed up that they were like, it's going to take forever.
Everything is making me mad right now. That's one thing I love about the internet. You post it, it comes out.
True.
We order merchandise. They're like
takes forever.
Everything
takes so long.
Vinyl, it takes forever. You order. It's hard to find instruments. It's hard to find musical equipment. It's hard to find everything.
Yeah.
The craziest article I saw, and then I'll just wrap up, is with the new Adele album that just came out. She had basically rented out the 3 vinyl factories on the planet to produce her albums all at the same time, just so she could release everything at once.
That's crazy.
Which meant everything that they had to make just got pushed back.
Just pushed aside, yeah.
When you got Adele money, she's like, concrete cat.
Yeah.
Print 30 right now. Hey. Print. I'm just, when you got Adele money, bro, you can do that.
I don't even blame her,
dude,
honestly. Man.
I'm happy.
Like, that's insane.
I'm happy she pushed our production back on our vinyl. I bow down to you, Adele.
Blame Adele. You can blame Adele. That's the reason your vinyl doesn't come out till March.
I'm glad, dude. Like I said, I'm on Adele's side right now. Push it back farther, Adele. Print more vinyl. I don't care.
Do whatever you want.
Spit in my face.
that took a weird turn. That seems like an appropriate place to end.
Perfect
all
timing.
right, so that wraps up another successful edition of Stories from a Bar. Big thank you, Audra, Matt, and Sam, for being on the show. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out and talk all about Concrete Castles, a little First to 11, your album Wish I Missed You, which is fantastic. This has been real fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. If you're not doing it already, be sure to go out there and like and follow all the Concrete Castle social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those, 1st to 11, if you're not already doing that as well. Also, you can check out concretecastles.band for merch and tour dates, I believe. Is there anything else you guys want to throw in?
You covered all the bases.
I'm a professional amateurist. Huge thank you to everyone out there for checking out the show. You can, of course, follow Stories from a Bar on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at StoriesFAB to keep up with everything going on the show. Be sure to check out Popcorn and Pints on Facebook and Twitter. Live stream Saturday nights where I just drink with friends and talk about movies at 9:00 because that's the life we lead. Also, don't forget discount code STORIES at uptownbeverage.com for your discount on beer, and you'll find Stories from a Bar on major podcast platforms all over the place. Be sure to like and subscribe. Even more importantly, leave a fantastic review and share the hell out of it, and check out Concrete Castles. So until next time, people, cheers.
Cheers.